Hello, geography students. This is Mrs. Politsky, and I have notes for Chapter 12, talking about Section 1, the physical geography of Northern and Southern Europe. So let's begin. Northern Europe includes the following countries: Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Iceland. And most of it is located on what is known as the Scandinavian Peninsula. That is primarily where Sweden and Norway are located, and the Jutland Peninsula, which pretty much encompasses Denmark. There are also many islands, including Iceland. The land of the northern portion of northern Europe has a rugged hills, mountains, and the soil is very rocky, thus making it very difficult to farm. The southern portion of the northern part of Europe has rolling hills, farmland, and plains. And as a result, more people happen to live in the southern portion of this region. Scandinavia has been impacted by the effects of glaciers. We have these things called fjords, which are found in Norway along the jagged western coastlines that were carved out as glaciers moved and eventually melted. And some of these fjords are somewhere between 3/4 of a mile wide, measuring up to about 100 miles long. Scandinavia is also the home to thousands of lakes that were created by melting glaciers. In Southern Europe, we have the following countries: Spain, Portugal, Italy, Greece, Andorra, San Marino, Vatican City, Malta, Cyprus, and the westernmost part of Turkey, and the British territory of Gibraltar. Its peninsulas include the Iberian Peninsula, which is pretty much where Spain and Portugal are located, the Italian Peninsula, which is pretty much all of Italy, the Balkan Peninsula, which includes Greece, but some nations in Eastern Europe that we will eventually identify, and the large islands in the Mediterranean, such as Sicily, Sardinia, probably should throw in Corsica, Malta, Crete, and Cyprus. The Scandinavian Peninsula has rugged mountains. The tallest peak there is the Bladhoppigen. Iceland is also the home of over 200 different volcanoes and is part of the Mid Atlantic Range, a mountain range. The Pyrenees and Alps are part of the boundary between the western and southern parts of Europe, and the tallest peak there is Mont Blanc, which is on the French Italian border. And as a peak, it reaches around 15,771 feet. In the Pyrenees, you have the Pico de Aneto, which is the tallest peak at 11,168 feet. The Apennines, they run the length of Italy, and the tallest peak there is the Great Rock of Italy at 9,554 feet. In Greece, we have rugged highlands known as Stupendous Mountains, with Mount Slomlikia as the tallest peak at 8,652 feet. And the most famous peak, probably because of literature, we have Mount Olympus. Most of Spain is on the plateau known as the Meseta Central. The longest river is the Tagus, which is 626 miles long, and it begins in central Spain and flows westward across the Iberian Peninsula to the Atlantic Ocean. The Po River in the northern part of Italy is 405 feet or 405 miles long and flows through the fertile and densely populated areas from the Alps to the Adriatic Sea. The Mediterranean Sea is the most important body of water in southern Europe. The most important rivers happen to be the Po in Italy, the Ebro in Spain, the Tagus in Spain and Portugal. And northern Europe has very few important rivers, but it does have a long coastline. And the Baltic Sea runs along the coast of Finland and Sweden's southern and southeastern coast. Northern Europe has a marine west coast climate, which gives Norway mild winters and cool summers. It also has a slightly um, warmed by the warm waters of the Norwegian current. Southern Europe has a Mediterranean climate, which basically makes it warm and gives kind of that region hot, dry summers and cool, mild winters. Most of the rain happening within the spring and fall seasons. Finland and Spain's Meseta Central have a humid continental climate, which is very similar to what we have, where it can be kind of harsh. You can have very cold winters and very hot summers. The climate is not influenced so much by the sea as a result of that. Norway, northern Italy near the Alps has a mountain climate zone with colder winters, and snow is heavy at the higher elevations. In number 12, the most important plant resource in southern Europe are grapes, which are used to make wine, and olives that are used to make olive oil. Figs and cypress trees can also be found in southern Europe. In northern Europe, the most important plant resource is wood. And there's a lot of forest there, and hence the timber industry is very important. Northern Europe is rich in iron, copper, titanium, lead, nickel, zinc, and gold. Forests are also important as an economic resource. The fishing industry is important for the countries of Norway, Spain, and Portugal. Denmark, Sweden, Norway also use alternative energies to supply their electricity. This would include wind, hydroelectric, and geothermal energy. Number 15, Norway is Europe's biggest exporter of oil, one of Europe's biggest exporters of natural gas as well. Fishing is an important industry for the countries along the shores of the North Sea. In Northern Europe, the coast of the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea in Southern Europe as well are also important for fishing. Thank you very much.